Chapter 13. Trials of Trust. The forest was unnervingly quiet as Ava, Xander, and Seth made their way through the dense underbrush. The usual sounds of rustling leaves and distant wildlife had been replaced by an oppressive stillness that pressed against Ava's senses. Every step felt heavier, every breath more laboured. The tome in her bag pulsed faintly, a rhythmic hum that seemed to sync with her own heartbeat. Luca had gone ahead to scout the trail, his presence always a steady reassurance, but Ava couldn't shake the unease crawling up her spine. The silence felt wrong, as if the forest itself were holding its breath. "We're being watched," Xander said, his voice low but steady. His golden eyes scanned the trees, his stance tense and ready. Ava tightened her grip on the strap of her bag. "By what?" "Not what," Seth said, his green eyes narrowing as he stepped closer to her side. "Who?" Before Ava could respond, a howl split the air, sharp and haunting. It echoed through the trees, followed by the sound of rustling leaves and snapping branches. Xander growled under his breath, his fists clenching as he moved to position himself in front of Ava. "It's them," he said, his voice dark. "A rival pack." The words had barely left his mouth when the first wolf lunged from the shadows. It was massive, its fur dark and bristling, its yellow eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Xander met the creature mid-leap, slamming it to the ground with a force that shook the earth. More wolves emerged from the forest, their forms distorted, their movements erratic. Ava's breath caught in her throat as she realized these weren't just rivals. They were corrupted, their bodies twisted by the darkness. "Stay close to me," Xander shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. Seth moved with a fluid grace, his dagger flashing in the dim light as he fought off another wolf. Ava stumbled back, clutching the tome as its glyphs began to glow, their light pulsing in time with the battle. "Use it, Ava," Seth called out, his voice sharp and commanding. "The light, it's the only thing that can stop them." Ava fumbled with the tome, her hands trembling as she flipped it open. The glyphs flared to life, their brilliance illuminating the clearing. The whispers returned, louder and clearer than ever before, guiding her as she focused on the page before her. "Unleash the light," she murmured, her voice steady despite the fear gripping her heart. A beam of silver light erupted from the tome, sweeping across the clearing. The corrupted wolves howled in pain as the light consumed them, their forms disintegrating into ash. Ava staggered, the energy leaving her drained, but the clearing was silent once more. Xander approached her, his expression a mix of concern and awe. "You did it," he said, his voice softer now. "You saved us." Ava shook her head, her legs trembling as she tried to steady herself. I couldn't have done it without you." Seth sheathed his dagger, his gaze lingering on Ava. "You're stronger than you realize," he said, his voice low, "but this is only the beginning." Later, as they regrouped, Luca returned, his face pale and his breathing ragged. "There's more," he said, his voice urgent. "The rival pack wasn't acting on its own. They're being controlled by something, or someone." Xander's jaw tightened. "The darkness." Luca nodded. "It's spreading faster than we thought. If we don't act soon, it won't just be the outer territories. It'll reach the council and the heart of the realm." Ava's heart sank. She looked at Xander and Seth, both of them worn but determined. The weight of the prophecy pressed heavily on her shoulders, but she knew they couldn't stop now. "Then we don't have a choice," Ava said, her voice steady despite the fear clawing at her. "We have to stop it no matter what it takes." Xander placed a hand on her shoulder, his touch reassuring. "We're with you, every step of the way." Seth's gaze met hers, and for a moment something unspoken passed between them. "Together," he said, his tone firm. The group moved forward, their bond strengthened by the trials they had faced. But the path ahead was darker than ever, and Ava couldn't shake the feeling that the worst was yet to come.